Hello everybody, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. I'm doing a video on my floor today because it's Christmas Eve and I thought it'd be fun to talk about some comic books, specifically a Christmas episode, or issue rather, in comics. So we're looking at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today, and it is interesting because the Ninja Turtles, it's one of those series that there are actually several Christmas episodes, and I always think of them as filler. So we're gonna look at these single issue mini series here, micro series, not Donatello, nothing to do with Christmas. Michelangelo is very much a Christmas one, but this is not what we want to talk about today. It is actually Leonardo #1, which at face value does not look like a Christmas story at all, but it is. Not only that, it's also very important to the series. They took the opportunity to not do a filler episode. They took the opportunity to do something awesome. So, what we're looking at here is Leonardo #1. And what I want to point out is this is a first printing, by the way, which is not in fantastic condition here at all. But I did buy it straight from Mirage Studios, so I don't know. It's special to me. Anyway, so I have first page here, and you'll notice that the bottom fourth, or maybe even fifth, we'll say it's a fourth, of the page has dialogue, and it has one story happening. You could read the whole thing and just look at that bottom side of the story, bottom side of the page rather, every page, and you'd have a single story. At the top, you have what's happening meanwhile, and this is 2/3 of the page, and there's no dialogue, I don't think at all up here, but there is an awful lot of action, not just action, but there's a lot of detail. And usually when you think of action, you think of pulling away the detail, but there's just a lot happening visually here. And so it is pretty impressive. This is conceptually one of those comic books that I don't think gets enough credit. You'd think of there's that Hawkeye episode, or, like the whole layout of Hawkeye, the Hawkeye run from Matt Fraction. Everyone always talks about the layouts on those and how they're super smart. There's several others. I think is it Nightwing lately, where the whole book is a cityscape, and each page just moves across, so you could, in theory, take them all out and line them up or something. This is also a layout that's super interesting and I think underrated. Anyway, we'll get into the story a bit here. Hit you right at the beginning. What goes around comes around. Comes with the action. Now, you remember with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, here they're pulling the Christmas tree in here. In the very first episode, or very first issue, why do I keep saying episode? Very first issue, the bad guy is killed. So if Shredder is killed in the first issue, they thought they were going to make one issue. At some point, they've got to bring the Shredder back. And issue #10, I think, gets credited a lot for bringing him back, but really, this is where that happens. So, spoiler alert. He's fighting on the rooftop with these Foot Clan members, and at the bottom, they're setting up the Christmas tree, getting things ready. It's all silly, fun, basic, what you would expect from a Christmas issue of a comic book down here on the bottom. At the top, it's all action. But is it important? Yes, it is. Again, looking at that sweet detail, really good stuff. We're cutting carrots down here at the bottom, getting ready for a Christmas meal. I'm not going to read through everything here, but we will flip through the pages. So yeah, the fact that it's not a filler episode or issue makes me happy, and I think it's more put to good use. I've even thought about when there are comic publishers that put out anthologies, I think they wouldn't suck so much if the anthologies meant something, if the stories in those led to something else, or they at least highlighted something important, and they don't. Part of that is probably because Eastman and Laird had control over everything. Again, great shot here. Really good perspective on everything. Even if the cartoon style is not exactly your thing, I think it's impressive in its own right. Great. This would be a splash page at the top. Let's see. It's gonna be a white Christmas, guys. Here comes the snow. Here it is. And again, another impressive thing is all of the snow everywhere. That's just bathing everything in snow. Look at this top panel. I'm not sure if they went through with white. I don't know. I'm not going to try to figure it out. This is not cartoonist kayfabe. Anyway, fight continues. This character starting to look a little familiar, reminiscent of something. And we're going to get through and see how it changes. Again, full commitment to the layout here. We're seeing Shredder here for the first time. Symbolic panel layout with the dripping of the snow, the shredding of Leonardo. There we go. He breaks through. And at the end, finally, a full splash page where both stories combine. He's back, the Shredder. Very simple story. And if you think about this from a writing standpoint, once you committed to it, it would be fairly simple. Writing out the action in order to let it carry the story along without it getting boring, because it goes full throttle from beginning to end action. But to be able to write that out and make it continue to be interesting without dialogue, I think is no easy task. But they nailed it. See, no dialogue. There are some sound effects here at the end. It's just him breaking the glass. And then keeping something light and fun at the bottom. Anyway, there we go. Some of the ads here in the back too. These are their own stuff, I think, too. Gizmo, only from Mirage Studios. Created, written, and drawn by Michael Dooney. Very cool. Anyway, oh yeah, wraparound cover at that. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. Very cool. So super fun issue. I've had these in my collection for a while. They're one of the first comics that I wanted to get was the full series. I was so close to getting a Raphael #1, and I was not really happy with the price, but you know what? I should have gotten it because the price is only going up. But yeah, those are mine. I think these are first printing. That's like a fourth printing or something, whatever. Anyway, super fun. I highly would recommend reading this comic book. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next video.